Tonight, UAW Local 1268 President Matt Frantzen shares an update on how rehiring workers to the Belvidere Assembly Plant would work. Frantzen says an agreement with Stellantis would take all workers laid off from the Belvidere location, those that signed up for a return to home plant request, and those that signed up for a return to a former labor market request. They will be combined into one list. From that list, it's a matter of seniority in regards to recalling workers to the Belvidere plant. Francis says there's still no timeline on when the Belvidere location will be up and running.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to discuss the Belvidere Assembly Plant in Illinois. Now, this has to be one of the hotter topics that I get questions for, that in Brampton. It seems like everybody wants to know what's going on with Belvidere. Are they going to build the midsize truck? Are they going to be online soon? It just seems like this, especially over the last couple of months, that this has been one of the biggest things that I get emails about other than Brampton. But today we actually have some new news about what's going on at the plant. We also have some details about, the future product maybe. And we also have some new rumors and speculations going forward. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about the facts first. Then we're going to talk about the rumors and speculation. But if you know anything about Belvidere, the first thing you're going to know is the plant has been idled since February of 2023 when they discontinued the Jeep Cherokee KL. Now, the reason why they discontinued the Jeep Cherokee KL is very interesting. So that vehicle was launched originally at the Toledo Assembly Complex in 2014. Belvidere got it in 2018. But during that time, the Jeep Cherokee was very polarizing. When it launched in 2014, basically it got hit with, oh, hey, it's very ugly, and the media just went crazy on it. And it was very interesting because sales just skyrocketed for Jeep. It was actually a really good seller for the brand. And back basically in 2017 is right when Jeep introduced the Jeep Compass MP, the current Compass that we have here in the United States. And at that time, if you actually looked at the footprint of that vehicle, it's considered a C-segment vehicle. But if you look at how it's packaged, it's actually packaged really, really well compared to the Cherokee, where if you look at the interior size, they're very similar. So even though it's a smaller vehicle, it does have a similar footprint than the Cherokee does in its interior. So a lot of people who were kind of cross-shopping the two would end up going with the Compass because it was simply cheaper. So the Compass did cannibalize a little bit of sales. In 2018, when it moved out to Belvidere, they did a full 2018 model year. 2019 basically became the mid-cycle refresh for the Cherokee. So it got a revised front end and some upgrades, goodies as well. But at that time, it was very interesting because the people that had bashed the styling of the Jeep Cherokee, when they updated the front to be very modest looking, sales kind of tanked. It was funny because you thought it would be like, hey, they're listening to the public and that's what the public wants. Unfortunately, with that polarizing looks of the original Cherokee, like in 2014, it was kind of funny because now everybody in the automotive market follows that same kind of thing with the headlamps down low and the top really high DRLs. Chevrolet has it in almost all their vehicles. Kia and a lot of the foreign automakers kind of follow that suit, but Jeep went back to being modest, and it kind of showed that, hey, people like the polarizing look. So sales kind of dropped off, and then we had the global pandemic. So that really affected sales because not only were they being cannibalized by the Compass a little bit, and then like the lack of the polarizing styling, but what really kind of did it in was the semiconductor shortage. So because Belvidere went from being, before the Cherokee, a three vehicle operation, so where they're building 3 vehicles, they went down to just building the Cherokee. So at that point, when there was a semiconductor shortage, they were pulling semiconductors from Belvidere mainly because the Cherokee wasn't selling as great as what they had hoped. So that kind of forced Belvidere into constant shutdowns, temporary shutdowns. And it got to the point where in 2023 that they realized, like, hey, we're just going to cancel the Cherokee. Now, since then, Antonio Filosa, who's the Stellantis CEO now, but who was also recently the Jeep CEO, as well as Chief Operating Officer of North America, and Bob Bordendorf, who's the new Jeep CEO, both of them have come out to say that that was one of the dumbest mistakes that they ever made, was not having a replacement for the Cherokee. The reason being is for the last 2.5 years, the Cherokee never had a replacement in one of the hottest segments in North America, the DSUV segment. So again, there was a huge loss of sales for the brand. And unfortunately, it's not until like this next month where we're going to get the new Cherokee to actually replace it. So again, Jeep has been struggling with one of the biggest segments of the market not having a vehicle in it. And considering that they're the SUV brand, it doesn't make a lot of sense. So when they canceled that, a lot of the people that were at the plant either went to temporary layoffs or they got shuffled into other places around the company. So unfortunately, we heard, not a whole lot about what's going to happen to the plant. And again, the plant was opened in like 65 and had been running continuously since then. So there's a lot of history there. Well, in 2023 was also the negotiations for the UAW and Stellantis. And at that time, the UAW basically negotiated with Stellantis to make Belvidere its key focus. They wanted to save Belvidere. And this is the actual contract negotiation deal here. You can see there's a huge section about Belvidere. And the very interesting thing is what they said that Belvidere was going to come out of this negotiations was a new midsize truck. At that time, we didn't know if it was going to be a Jeep or a Ram. We just knew that there was going to be a midsize truck that was going to basically, keep the 1,200 jobs that were lost when Belvidere was idled. The other thing was they were going to build a battery plant because rumor was that this truck was going to be a battery electric vehicle. So they were going to invest $3.2 billion to build this new battery plant on site, and it would generate an additional 1,300 jobs. But not only that, they were going to build a Mopar mega hub on the property as well. And that mega hub was going to supply not only other plants with parts and stuff like that and be a distribution center for Mopar stuff, but also distribute stuff for dealerships and that. So what we've come to find out is since this whole thing was kind of negotiated, it was kind of weird to begin with because the negotiations, even though this was part of the deal, the truck wouldn't come to market until 2028, and that was going to be under the next contract. So a lot of people are like, this isn't really a good deal because it's not really proven anything because they can easily change this whole outlook in the next contract. Well, basically what we've learned is, Stellantis is not building many EVs anymore. They're going to build some, but not all like they had originally planned. And what they're going to do is they've basically canceled the battery plant. So the battery plant's not coming. That additional 1,300 jobs is not coming. The parts distribution stuff, from what I've heard out there, is they are doing some parts distribution in the plant since it's idle. But we don't know that they're going to do anything besides small stuff. There is no plans for a mega hub. That plan had been shifted to Detroit. They're actually building one down by Willow Run Airport right now that would make up for this one. So again, no mega hub out there anymore. And it kind of makes sense because Belvidere is about an hour northwest of Chicago. And it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. So basically, without St. Louis being a assembly plant anymore, which used to build pickup trucks and caravans back in the day, there really isn't anything on the West Coast to build, so they don't really need a mega hub there. So again, all the original plans for this whole contract thing kind of fell through a little bit, other than the pickup truck. So with that being said, we've heard multiple things over the last couple years, since this whole thing went down. We've heard that, they're going to get the midsize truck. Now they weren't going to get it. That we had heard rumors that it was going to Toledo South. Then we heard rumors that it was coming back. And then Stellantis confirmed in January that they are going to build a midsize truck there. And now we're hearing rumors again that it may not be coming to Belvidere, the midsize truck. The reason being is there's a couple of reasons. Now, we know the Trump administration has been pushing big time for, production of U.S. vehicles. With that being said, there's several plants in the Stellantis portfolio of plants here in the U.S. that are not unibody, but body-on-frame plants that aren't utilized to their full capacity. If we look at Warren Truck just got rid of the Ram 1500 Classic. They are only down to one shift, and they build just the Wagoneer and Grand Wagoneer, and those sales have not been doing that well. So to build another plant and convert a unibody plant to a body-on-frame would not only just cost a lot of money, but you're limiting to what you can build at that plant. Where if you want to build more products, like more crossovers or more future cars or anything, you're going to be hard-pressed. You're going to have to build either another plant, which is going to cost billions, or you're going to try to find a spot for this body-on-frame truck somewhere else. So what we've been hearing again is that this truck will probably, now I'm getting into this rumors and speculation, that it will probably go to Toledo South. And that makes sense because if this thing is uses a lot of the underpinnings from the Gladiator, which it's supposed to, the Gladiator is built at Toledo South. It kind of makes sense. They have a whole industrial park there that for suppliers, they can build stuff. to me, the plant, like if you look at the Gladiator itself, it's always been like an overpriced kind of adventure vehicle. They've been working on the price. They've dropped the price quite a bit, but sales have never been like where the Ford Ranger and stuff have been. So for them bringing a Ram truck in there, they could totally maximize, the actual build capacity at the plant. So that's good. That would also allow Belvidere to actually do something else. But the reason why I'm saying this is because in the recent couple days, we've actually gotten a lot of information. This is an article that was done by WIFR out in Illinois. Now, the interesting thing is this is an article that has to do with the UAW Local president out there at 1268, which is in charge of Belvidere. Now, Matt Frantzen, who's the president, he basically went on there and said that changes are coming to Belvidere, that renovations have started. However, you can see it right here. It does not appear that Belvidere will be producing a mid-sized truck. So again, it's based on speculation. There's been no word of, official notification that they're not going to build the truck there. But from what he's been hearing, there is no official word that the truck is going to go on. So again, it's very interesting because how we can kind of tell that this is happening is Matt actually went onto the Facebook page over there on the 1268 page, and he actually laid out a lot of information about what's happening at the plant right now. So the first thing we know is that there are 960 members that are currently on the recall list for the plant. This includes members currently in Belvidere, working or laid off, the members that have signed up for the return to home plant request, and the members that have signed a return to former labor market request. He said, when I get these lists updated, I will get them sent out to everyone. We also know that they spent $240,000 that was approved to renovate some of the bathrooms in the plant. He goes, this project is now on hold. Now, this is where it gets interesting, due to not having the future layout of the plant. So again, if this midsize truck was confirmed and being built there, they don't know the layout. Now, they said that carpenters were recalled to replace the doors in the plant. The powerhouse roof, which was damaged during a storm recently, was being fixed. Schuler Press Company was in this past week to give quotes on all the work that will get the stamping plant done, because we had heard rumors too that some of the stamping stuff was pulled to be sent down to Mexico to build the Ram 1500 DT trucks down there. The company is purchasing the boiler they have been leasing for years. They will be replacing 2 of the other boilers and refurbishing another. Now, he says here that Jared Olson, the launch director, and Sean Russo, who's basically the vehicle processing engineer, along with several others, were in the plant last week to walk through the facility. At this point, there haven't been any timelines laid out for anything to take place in Belvidere. Now, this is what he says. This is very interesting because he talks about speculation and rumors. He goes, it doesn't look like we'll be getting the mid-size truck. This hasn't been confirmed or denied by anyone that can make the call on what we get, but it doesn't appear to be coming to Belvidere. He goes, I've been on phone calls on this, or I've had a few phone calls on this. We have to wait for some kind of notification. He goes, I was originally told that there would be an announcement on October 1st. This has since been moved back to the week of the 6th or the 13th. He goes, we've heard several times in the past that there will be an announcement next month. He put next month in quotes, but the announcement never happens. I have no reason to believe any announcement will take place in October or that this will be a product allocation announcement. I am passing along what I've been told up to this point. Then the next thing was, this is also a video I was going to do, but I'll talk a little bit about it too. The reason I bring up the potential announcement is in October is that UAW Local 1285 in Brampton, this is the group that represents Brampton, is having a rally on October 4th. Now, their president announced that they're going to do a rally up there with all of the, basically the workers and their families and stuff at the plant. It's going to be like they're going to have bounce houses. They're going to do a whole bunch of stuff there. But he goes, the timing of the rally they are having and the talks of the announcement seem to line up a little. He goes, he may not know that Brampton has been down as well, waiting on what product they will get. He goes, let me know if you have any questions. As we get information, I'll get it sent out to everybody. So again, he's informing everybody. So we know that, again, there's a big doubt that that midsize truck will go there. And that kind of goes hand in hand with what we've been saying, that it will probably go to Toledo South product. So what could be future product at the plant? Let's talk about that. So one of the big things that we've been talking about is again, Chrysler's going to be basically debuting a new crossover, and this is the C6X. So this is a D segment Stella Large platform vehicle. Now, we originally heard plans that it could be built in Windsor. That makes sense, but you have the new Charger ramping up. So you got 6-pack launch. You also have a brand new refreshed Pacifica that's going to launch next year as well. So the C6X makes a lot of sense. Not only are you, because we know that Windsor is actually going to have 3 shifts going, but with Chrysler, they haven't had a vehicle built in the U.S. since December of 2016 when they discontinued the Chrysler 200. So even though it's an American brand, all Chrysler vehicles were built in Canada since 2016 in December. So honestly, having a Chrysler vehicle come to the U.S. makes a lot of sense. Again, unibody, the plant's already built for unibodies. It would take a minor investment compared to, completely redoing the plant for body on frame. So again, this could be one of the vehicles. It makes sense because they're already building multiple products at Windsor. Why not bring that here? The other thing is, if you think about this, with the Stella Large platform, we also know that the Jeep Cherokee KM, is being built in Toluca. Now, Toluca, Mexico, it's kind of funny because it's going to be built alongside the Wagoneer S as well as the Jeep Recon. Now, the Recon's getting ready to launch very, very soon, but the Cherokee is already starting to be built down there. And with that being said, if the Cherokee is only for the North American market, meaning US and Canada, wouldn't it make sense to build that vehicle? Kind of food for thought, because that would be just in line with this Chrysler vehicle, because this vehicle, Chris Fuel, who's the Chrysler CEO, has basically told us that this will be launched as a hybrid. So if you look at the Jeep Cherokee KM, the new Jeep Cherokee, the KM is going to be launched as a hybrid only too. It's based on the same platform. Kind of goes hand in hand that those would be pretty good choices to be built there. And then on top of it, we also know that Chrysler, Chris Fuel has basically said that, hey, Chrysler's going to be building a sedan. So if Chrysler builds a sedan, to me, if they're going to build it alongside the Dodge Charger Daytona in Windsor, how many vehicles can you build at that Windsor plant? So honestly, they could build it, build the sedan in Belvidere, because if it's Stella Large, just like these vehicles are, it makes sense. But if you already have capacity or barely any capacity because of minivans and Dodge Chargers, and if you build something else over there, you're going to be kind of limited. So to me, it's either they're going to have to build a Chrysler sedan over in Windsor or the C6X, and one of those vehicles will probably end up in Belvidere, just in my opinion. So again, that's not confirmed, but what our sources have been telling us, it sounds like maybe the Chrysler crossover will be ending up at the plant over in Belvidere. So again, a lot of excitement, but at least we know what is happening at Belvidere now. There are renovations. They are getting ready to recall people back. The thing is they just don't know about the product. Nothing's been confirmed, and we keep hearing that this next month kind of, future announcement is coming. So it could be next month, it could be months from now, we don't know. But they are getting ready to recall some of the staff back to start getting the plant ready for this next generation of products. So hopefully soon we'll learn more details, but again, some exciting news for those who work out at Belvidere. So leave me your comments below. What do you think could be built at Belvidere if they're not going to build the midsize truck? Tell me your comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.